Here, so this is my Monroe electromechanical calculator I recently added to the collection. It's going to be a next refurbishment project. So let me walk you through some of the features of it. You have this giant keypad here. You can enter numbers in across left to right and diagonal. You can, if you're really good, you can just key them all in at once, which is really cool. So let's start with the simplest thing, which is addition. So we're going to do 1, and we now have a 1. So we're going to add a 1 to that. We now have 2. What happens if I want to keep adding 1? I hold down the R here to remember that 1, and as I hold it down, so I put that in 6 times, I got 6, because 1 times 6 is 6. So that's really cool. So let's clear the upper counter and the lower register. And now we're going to do more complex numbers. So let me clear that out. And we're going to do 5 times 5. And we're going to do that 5 times, we get 25. So 5 times 5 is 25. So that is multiplication. So next thing we get into is subtraction. So let's say I put in 888 into the register, so we have 888 there, and I want to subtract 777 from it, so I hit subtract. We now have 111. I subtract 111 from that, we have 0. It also does carryover. So if I fill this with 9s here like so, and I put that into the board, and then I add a single 1 to that number, you can see it carries it over to that spot. So these have decimal places, or this is decimal place, these have register marks. So these little guys here, these dials, let you dial in if you have a decimal place or a comma. You can make them gray or red, which is really cool. So I have it set here for this is my decimal, and then this is my hundreds, and this is my thousands. But it's going to be all the way up to 20 million if you want. Well, you know those numbers run further past. How do you get to those? Well, that's what this little lever down here is for. This lets you move over to those columns, and I can put a number into those registers, come back, and then add numbers to that and maintain these really large numbers or large addition on, because it just keeps carrying over. So again, that resets my upper counter, that resets my register. So we've now done addition and subtraction. Well, what's the advanced version of subtraction? That's division. So this is going to get kind of crazy. So let's see if we can make this work here. This is kind of where it has a fault. So we're going to go over 1. We're going to take 8. We're going to enter the 8. We're going to reset the counter. We're going to divide 8 by 2 and hit divide. And see what happened? Yeah, I forgot to have it remember the number. It's trying to divide by 0 right now. So basically just sit there and run forever because there's no number that's divisible into 0. So how do you stop that? Well, turn the divide off, hit plus, we stop that. So we're going to clear that out, and we're going to try this one more time. So we're going to go over 1, and we're going to do, remember this time, we're going to put an 8 into the register. We're going to clear it. We're going to divide by 2 and tell it to go. There we go. We got 4. So 8 divided by 2 is 4. You ignore that 0 because it's the leading decimal place. And up here it gives you the number it reads. So that's how division works. And again, you can do really long numbers with lots of decimal places by moving it all the way over here, and you work left to right since you're doing the subtraction method on it, which is just a really cool system. Again, this is your 0 number, so I could put a number in. I could press that to 0 it. If I have a lot of numbers in here, I could press that 0 to reset them all. This is to reset the number each time. So if I put a number in and I add plus, you see how it resets. But if I hold the R down like so, it remembers that for the next cycle, which is really cool. This is a division key. Over here, there is a manual cycle. So when your power goes out, you can actually manually cycle through. This is your counter reset. So going forward resets the upper one. Going backwards resets the lower one. You have 2 releasement tabs here to lift this up to go in and lubricate it. This little knob's going to need to be refurbished on the front of it. I'm missing some of the decimal sliders, which are like these guys. So I would slide this over here to let me know that I have my decimal place lined up with these 2 on how I'm working with it. So the unit itself is about 30 pounds of solid steel. Yes, it is a condensed model, but it's still got all the mechanics inside to make a full mathematical calculation, which is just really cool. I'm missing the power cord for it, hence the alligator clips here that are powering it, so I'm going to have to make something up for that. But make sure you stay tuned. I'm going to take this apart, do a lot of refurbishing on it, try to get the division fully operational, because sometimes it will give you a weird number, like you'll do 8 divided by 2, you end up with like 3.99999. So it's kind of funny how analog's creeping into the digital world. But very cool. Thanks for watching. Make sure you stay tuned.